Hi YouTube! In today's video I want to show you how to access the SPI bus in GNU/Linux by using the programming language C. And for this purpose I have made the following setup. I've connected an 8-bit GPIO expander to my Raspberry Pi, and here I have a LED to control and a button to read the state in. And for this setup we will write a small program to control it. But before I start, let's take a brief look at the datasheet of the chip I'm using here. So I'm using the MCP23S08 8-bit I/O expander with serial interface. Let's take a brief look at the pinout of the chip. So here it is, and please notice these two inputs here. We have two address pins, which is a little bit strange for SPI. On I2C it is more common, but it is the first time for me I saw such an addressing on a SPI device, but okay, why not? And over these two inputs you can set up an address. So for example, if you're pulling both pins to ground, the address will be 0, and if you pull both pins to your supply voltage, the address will be 3. So you can set up to 4 addresses with these two address pins, and you can have up to 4 such chips on the same SPI bus. But how can we program the device? For this we have to take a look at the memory map of the device. And here we have all the registers we can access and their addresses. And I will only go through the relevant registers for our use case. And the first register here at address 0 is the I/O direction register. So in this register you can set up each GPIO for an input or an output. If you're writing a 1 to it, the pin will be an input. If you're writing a 0 to it, the pin will be an output. So the next important register for us is the GPIO register at address 9. Over this register you can read in the state of every pin, nevertheless if it is an output or an input. And over the output latch register at address A or 10 decimal, you can set up the output pins. So these will be the registers we will use in the program. But how can we access the registers over the SPI bus? For this, let's take a look at this picture here. So the device is only addressed if we pull chip select low, but the SPI IP inside the Raspberry Pi already takes care of this. And then we have to write out the first byte. The upper 5 bits are fixed. Bit 6 has to be 1, the rest has to be 0. Bit 1 and 2 has to be the address we have assigned over the two inputs. So in my case, I have pulled both to ground, so in my case it will be 0, 0 here. But if you're using an other address, you should set up you should use your address here. And the least significant bit is the read-write bit. So if you set this bit to 0, the device knows, okay, the next access will be a write access. If you're setting it to 1, the chip knows, okay, the SPI master wants to read from me. The next byte here is the register address, and here we just write in the address of the register we're interested in. For example, if we want to set the GPIO direction, the address will be 0, and the next bytes will be the data we will transfer. So now let's write some code for this chip. So let me change into my programming directory, and here I will create a new source file with the name of the GPIO expander. So first I will include some headers here, and I will only mention the important ones. String, standard lib, key control. Okay, so I won't use a library, I will only use IO controls, and for IO control I need the include sys/IO control. And the commands for IO control I can find in the header file linux/spi/spidev.h. Next thing I need are some global variables. The first one will be the SPI mode, which will be 0 in our case. The next one will be the SPI speed we want to use, and I want to use 500 kilobytes. And the last variable here is the amount of bits we want to write out or read in on every SPI access, and this will be 8 here. So now let's create the main function here. First I need a file descriptor here, and I need an array for storing my input and output data. Open the SPI bus file descriptor. So the first thing I will do is I will open the device file dev SPI dev 0.0 to which I have connected my GPIO expander, and I will open it with read and write permissions. And if the return file descriptor is smaller than 0, we know an error occurred. I will print out an error message, bus, and I will return with -1 here. But if we have a valid file descriptor, we can go on with the setup of the SPI bus. I already mentioned I will use IO control here. And first let's set up the SPI mode. So for this I need the command SPI IOC write mode, and as an argument I have to pass a pointer to the variable storing my SPI mode. And here, if the return value is smaller than 0, we know an error occurred. Setting the SPI mode, and before returning I have to close the file descriptor here. Okay, so let me copy this 2 more times. The next thing we have to set up is the maximum speed in hertz. So, okay. And the last thing we have to set up is bits per word. So once again, this is the word length of every SPI access. Okay, ready for SPI accesses. So down here we can add our SPI accesses. So if you have watched my video about I2C, after setting up the I2C bus, I have used the read and write commands or functions to read and write from the I2C bus. But SPI works a little bit differently. There are no read or write transactions. In theory, with every byte you write out, you can read in a byte. And we have to implement a function which take care of this. So let's create a new function here. I will call SPI transfer with the following arguments: the file descriptor, a data array, and the length. And yeah, it's always good to add a small comment to your function. So function makes SPI transfer param d file descriptor to SPI bus param data array with output write data will be overwritten with the received input data. And the last argument here is the length, and this is just length of the data array. Okay, so now let's implement this function here. I need an array of the type struct SPI IOC transfer, and this array will have the length of my data array here. And I need a second variable here. Transfer struct. So now let's set up the transfer struct. Okay. So first, it's always a good idea to initialize my struct with all zeros, so every field has a valid value in it. SPI transfer. Okay, and then we can set up the elements of the struct. The first one is the tx buffer, and this is a pointer to the variable we want to send out. So it is the current element of our data array. The receive buffer is where we want to store the incoming data, and I will just override my data array here. In theory, we could use two arrays, one for output data, one for input data, but I will use the same array here. So the next one is the length in bytes we want to transfer on this one struct element here. The next one is the speed we want to use, and this is why I use global variables here, so I can use the same variable in the main function and in my transfer function. Bits per word, and here we have our word length we have to pass to. Okay, and after this, let's do the transfer. I will do the transfer. For this, I will use IO control 2. The macro is the following: SPI IOC message length. So for each length, there is an individual macro. And the last argument here is a pointer to our buffer from the struct SPI IOC transfer. And if the value is smaller than 0, we know an error occurred. Okay, I forgot. Yeah. Okay. And if the return value is smaller than 0, error transferring data over SPI bus. We have an error here. I will close the file descriptor and I will exit with -1 from my program. But if not, we were successfully able to send out the data. Okay, so now let's actually access our GPIO expander. And the first thing I will do is I have to set up the GPIO's direction. So here, the first upper 5 bits are fixed. Bit 1 and 2 are the GPIO. The address we have set up by the address pins, which is 0 in my case, and the read-write bit is 0 too, so it indicates we want to do a write. The next one is the address to which we want to write to, which is 0 here, and the last one is the address or the data we want to write out, and I will set this to FE, so all GPIOs are inputs, only GPIO 1 is an output. Transfer, and now let's call our SPI transfer function. So this is the file descriptor to our SPI bus. Here we have our data array, and the size of my data array is 3. Okay. let's do this 2 more times. Set GPIO or set LED will be the next thing we will do. So here the address is A. This remains a right. And now if the argument count is bigger than 1, bigger not smaller, I will write out I will convert the first argument to integer and compare it if it's bigger than 1. In this case I will write out the value, and else I will just set the LED off here. And we do the transfer, and now read button. So here we will do a read, so I have to set the bit 0 here. The address will be 9, and this data here is a don't care, so I will set it to 0. And after the transfer we can find the input data in element 2. So button is data 2, and 1 should by 1, and if this is bigger than 0 I will print out button is pressed, else I will print out not pressed. Okay, so that's it. Now let's try to compile this program. Okay, it looks good, so now let's try to execute it. And now let's set the LED to 1. So now the LED is off, now the LED is on. Okay, now let's try to press the button. Okay, we get the right value back here. And now let's set the LED to 0 back once again. And now the LED is off. On, off. Okay, great. So we have successfully accessed the SPI bus on GNU/Linux by using a C program. So I guess that's it for today. I hope you've learned something. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.